There are moments in life when time stands completely still, when hundreds of voices go silent at once, when every eye in a room turns to look at you, waiting to see what you'll do next. For me, that moment happened at my college graduation. I was walking across the stage in my cap and gown. My name had just been announced, and I was 3 steps away from receiving my diploma when I heard it. A voice from the audience, loud, sharp, cutting through the ceremony like a knife. She cheated. Everything she's done is a lie. The entire auditorium went silent. I'm talking dead silent. The kind of silence where you can hear your own heartbeat pounding in your ears. I froze on stage, my hand halfway extended toward the dean who was holding my diploma. He looked confused, shocked, unsure what to do. I turned slowly toward the audience, and that's when I saw her. My sister, Olivia, standing in the middle of the crowd, her face red, her finger pointing directly at me. She plagiarized her thesis. She paid someone to write her final papers. She doesn't deserve that degree. My parents sat next to her, looking mortified. My mother's hand was over her mouth. My father was trying to pull Olivia back down into her seat, but she shook him off, still yelling. I have proof. I have emails, receipts, everything. She's a fraud. The whispers started then. Hundreds of people murmuring, gasping, staring at me like I was some kind of criminal. Security guards started moving toward Olivia, but she kept shouting, kept accusing, kept trying to destroy me in front of everyone I had worked so hard to impress. And me? I just stood there on that stage, my diploma still out of reach, my entire future hanging in the balance, watching my own sister try to ruin the most important day of my life. But here's what nobody in that auditorium knew. Here's what Olivia didn't realize as she screamed her accusations for everyone to hear. I was ready for this. Because this wasn't the first time Olivia had tried to sabotage me. This wasn't even the worst thing she'd done. And this time, unlike every other time before, I had a plan. See, the thing about being tormented by someone your whole life is that eventually, you learn their patterns. You learn how they think, how they operate, what lines they're willing to cross. And when you know all that, when you've documented everything, when you've been quietly preparing for years, you can turn their worst attack into their final mistake. So when I looked out at that frozen audience, at my sister standing there so confident in her destruction, I didn't panic. I didn't cry. I didn't run. Instead, I smiled, and I walked straight to the microphone. Before I tell you what I said into that microphone, before I tell you how this story ends, you need to understand who Olivia is. You need to know what she's done to me over the years. Because what happened at my graduation wasn't an isolated incident. It was the culmination of 24 years of jealousy, manipulation, and calculated cruelty. My name is Maya, and I'm the younger sister by 3 years. Growing up, that age gap meant everything. Olivia was always first, the one who blazed the trail, who set the standard. And in the beginning, I looked up to her. I wanted to be just like her. But somewhere along the way, Olivia decided I wasn't her sister. I was her competition, and she would do anything to make sure she stayed ahead. It started small when we were kids. She would hide my homework so I'd get in trouble at school. She would tell our parents I had done things I hadn't, getting me grounded while she got praised. When I made the honor roll in middle school, she told everyone I had cheated off her old tests. In high school, it got worse. When I tried out for the debate team and made it, Olivia spread rumors that I had slept with the coach to get my spot. The rumor was so vicious, so detailed, that even though it was completely false, people believed it. I ended up quitting the team because the whispers and stares became unbearable. When I got accepted into a prestigious summer program for science students, Olivia told my parents it was a waste of money and that I would probably just drop out anyway. She was so convincing that they almost didn't let me go. I had to beg, promise to pay them back, work 2 part-time jobs to cover some of the costs myself. And college? College was when Olivia's attacks became truly strategic. She went to a different university than me, thank God, but that didn't stop her. She created fake social media accounts and posted things claiming to be me, saying horrible, offensive things that got back to my classmates. She sent anonymous emails to my professors questioning the authenticity of my work, She even called my internship supervisor once, pretending to be a concerned student, claiming I had stolen research. Every single time, I had to defend myself, prove my innocence, clear my name, and every single time, Olivia would act innocent when confronted, claiming she was just looking out for me, or that someone must have been impersonating her, or that I was being paranoid. Our parents never fully believed me. They thought I was exaggerating, that Olivia wouldn't really do such things, that I was just being sensitive about normal sibling rivalry. But I knew the truth, and by my senior year of college, I had started documenting everything, every email, every message, every incident. I kept records, screenshots, timestamps, witness statements from friends who had seen her behavior. I didn't know exactly when I would need this evidence, but I knew someday Olivia would go too far, and when she did, I would be ready. That day turned out to be my graduation. The weeks leading up to graduation were actually peaceful. Olivia had been strangely quiet, hadn't tried to sabotage anything major in months. I thought maybe she had finally moved on, finally accepted that I was going to succeed regardless of what she did. I was so wrong. What I didn't know was that Olivia had been planning something big, something public, something that would humiliate me in front of everyone who mattered, in a way that couldn't be easily disproven. She had spent months creating fake evidence. She had fabricated emails between me and various essay writing services. She had doctored documents to make it look like I had paid people to write my papers. She had even created fake conversations between me and classmates, supposedly coordinating cheating schemes. It was elaborate, it was detailed, and if I hadn't been prepared, it would have worked. The morning of graduation, I received a message from an unknown number. It contained one of the fake emails Olivia had created, along with a message: "Everyone will know what you really are today." My stomach dropped. I knew immediately it was from Olivia, even though the number was blocked. I called my best friend, Jasmine, the only person who knew the full extent of what Olivia had been doing over the years. "She's going to try something today," I told her. "Something public." Jasmine was already at the venue helping with setup. "What do you want to do?" "Get security ready, and make sure someone's recording everything that happens during the ceremony. Everything." "Maya, are you sure you want to go through with this?" I paused, looking at myself in the mirror in my cap and gown, remembering every accomplishment Olivia had tried to steal from me, every moment she had tried to make me feel worthless. "I'm sure. It ends today." The ceremony started normally. Speeches from the dean, from the valedictorian, from distinguished alumni. My parents sat in the audience with Olivia between them, and from my seat with the other graduates, I could see her fidgeting, checking her phone, waiting for her moment. When they started calling names for diplomas, my heart rate picked up. I was in the M section, so I had time to watch other students walk across the stage, shake hands, receive their diplomas, smile for photos. Normal, peaceful, celebratory. Then I heard, "Maya Catherine Rodriguez." I stood up, smoothed my gown, and started walking toward the stage. My legs felt steady even though my heart was racing. I climbed the steps, crossed the stage, smiled at the dean. That's when Olivia stood up and screamed. And everything I had prepared for, everything I had planned, was about to unfold exactly the way I needed it to. The security guards were moving toward Olivia, ready to escort her out, but I held up my hand. The dean looked at me, confused, but I walked calmly to the podium microphone that had been used for speeches earlier in the ceremony. "Wait," I said, my voice steady and clear through the sound system. "Let her finish." The guards stopped. The audience went from murmuring to silent again. Olivia looked momentarily confused, like this wasn't the reaction she expected. "Go ahead, Olivia," I said directly to her. "Tell everyone what you think I did." She recovered quickly, her confidence returning. "You cheated your way through college. You plagiarized. You paid people to do your work. You lied about everything. And you have proof of this?" "Yes. I have emails. I have payment records. I have screenshots of fabricated conversations, doctored documents, fake accounts you created yourself?" The audience gasped. Olivia's face went pale. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the presentation system. The large screens on either side of the stage, which had been showing graduate photos, now displayed my screen. "Let me show everyone what my sister has been doing," I said calmly. "Not just today, but for years." I pulled up the first file. A screen recording of Olivia creating one of the fake email accounts she had used to frame me. The timestamp was clear, the metadata was intact, and you could see her profile picture in the corner of the screen, because she had forgotten to log out of her main account when she recorded it. The audience was completely silent now, everyone's eyes glued to the screens. "This is from 3 months ago," I explained. "My sister created multiple fake accounts impersonating me and various academic services. She then created conversations between these accounts to make it look like I had hired people to write my papers." I switched to the next file. Here are the real emails from those same services, showing that I never contacted them, never paid them, never used their services. I reached out to each company myself after I discovered what Olivia was doing, and they confirmed no transactions under my name. Olivia tried to speak, but no words came out. My parents looked horrified, staring at their daughter like they didn't recognize her. "And here," I continued, pulling up another folder, "are screenshots of text messages between Olivia and her friend Rachel, where she explicitly discusses her plan to expose me at graduation to teach me a lesson about trying to be better than her." I read one of the messages out loud. "She thinks she's so perfect. Wait until everyone sees her diploma get taken away. She'll finally know what it feels like to lose." The audience gasped again. Some people started whispering. A few were taking out their phones, recording. I wasn't done. Not even close. "This isn't the first time my sister has tried to sabotage me," I said, my voice growing stronger with each word. "This is just the boldest attempt." I pulled up a timeline I had created, a comprehensive document that laid out every incident over the years, complete with dates, evidence, and witness statements. When I was 15, I made the honor roll. Olivia told my entire school I had stolen her old tests. Here are the actual grade records showing our tests were different, and statements from 3 teachers confirming I earned those grades honestly. The timeline advanced. When I was 17, I earned a spot on the debate team. Olivia spread a rumor so vicious that I quit. Here are text messages where she admits to her friends that she made it up because she was jealous. More evidence appeared on screen. During my freshman year of college, Olivia sent anonymous emails to my professors questioning my work. Here are the IP addresses of those emails, traced back to her apartment. With each revelation, Olivia seemed to shrink smaller in her seat. My mother was crying now. My father had his head in his hands, but I kept going. Last semester, when I was working on my thesis, the culmination of 4 years of hard work, Olivia tried to delete my research files by hacking into my cloud storage. Luckily, I had backups. And luckily, the security logs show exactly which account accessed my files unauthorized. I paused, letting it all sink in. The dean was staring at the screens, his face a mixture of shock and anger. Other faculty members were whispering to each other, some taking notes. So, when I received a threatening message this morning, warning me that everyone would know what I really am today, I knew my sister was about to make her final move. And honestly, I'm grateful, because now everyone really does know what's real. I turned to face Olivia directly. "I worked for this degree. I earned every grade, wrote every paper, conducted every experiment myself. I stayed up late, sacrificed my social life, pushed through exhaustion and doubt, all while dealing with your constant attacks. And I still made it. I still succeeded. Not because of luck or cheating or shortcuts, but because I refused to let you destroy me." Olivia was crying now, but they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of rage, of embarrassment, of being caught. I turned back to the dean. "I have physical copies of all this evidence, along with additional documentation, ready to submit to the university's academic integrity office if needed. My thesis has been through multiple plagiarism checks. My professors can verify my work. I have nothing to hide." The dean nodded slowly, then did something I didn't expect. He started clapping. 1 person, then 2, then 10, then the entire auditorium erupted in applause. Security finally did remove Olivia from the auditorium, but not before she screamed a few more accusations, none of which anyone believed anymore. My parents followed her out, my mother sobbing, my father looking completely broken. I finally received my diploma, shook the dean's hand, and walked off that stage to a standing ovation. People I barely knew were cheering for me. Strangers were crying. My friends were shouting my name, but I felt strangely empty. The ceremony continued after that, though the energy had completely changed. Everyone was whispering about what happened, checking their phones to see if anyone had posted videos yet. By the time the ceremony ended, clips of the confrontation were already going viral on social media. Jasmine found me immediately after, wrapping me in a huge hug. "You did it. You actually did it." "I can't believe that just happened," I said, my voice shaking now that the adrenaline was wearing off. "Believe it. You just exposed years of abuse in front of hundreds of people. You stood up for yourself in the most powerful way possible." My phone started buzzing with messages. Friends congratulating me. Distant relatives asking what happened. A few messages from people I went to high school with, apologizing for believing Olivia's rumors back then. But nothing from my parents. Nothing from Olivia. I wasn't sure if that silence was better or worse than another attack. The university dean approached me during the reception that followed. "Miss Rodriguez, I want to personally apologize for the disruption to your ceremony, and I want you to know that the administration takes these accusations very seriously, both the false ones made against you and the documented harassment you've endured." "Thank you," I managed to say. "We'll be conducting a full review of the evidence you've compiled. If your sister made any official reports or complaints to the university as part of her harassment, there will be consequences for filing false accusations. I want to make sure you know you're protected." Protected. The word felt foreign. I had spent so many years defending myself, proving myself, fighting to be believed, that the idea of someone else protecting me seemed impossible. But looking around at the supportive faces, at the messages pouring in, at the physical diploma in my hands that no one could take away from me now, I realized something had fundamentally shifted. I had won. Not just today, but for good. 3 days after graduation, my parents called and asked to meet. Just the three of us. No Olivia. I agreed, but I chose a public coffee shop, neutral territory where I felt safe. They looked awful when they arrived. My mother's eyes were puffy and red from crying. My father looked like he hadn't slept. They sat across from me, and for a long moment, nobody spoke. Finally, my father broke the silence. "We owe you the biggest apology of our lives." "We didn't know," my mother added quickly, her voice cracking. "We didn't know it was this bad, this calculated, this cruel." I stirred my coffee, waiting. I had imagined this conversation hundreds of times over the years, but now that it was happening, I didn't feel the vindication I thought I would. I just felt tired. "After the graduation, we went through Olivia's laptop and phone," my father continued. "With her permission, though she didn't really have a choice at that point. Maya, we found everything. Years of plans, fake accounts, drafted messages, research into how to sabotage you without getting caught. It was like reading the diary of a stranger, not our daughter." "She's getting help?" my mother said. "We've enrolled her in therapy. Serious therapy, with a specialist who deals with extreme jealousy and sibling rivalry. We should have done this years ago when you first tried to tell us something was wrong." "You didn't believe me," I said quietly. "All those times I told you what she was doing, you thought I was overreacting or being dramatic or just having normal sister problems." My mother started crying again. "We failed you. We should have protected you. Instead, we let her torment you and made you feel like you were the problem." "Why?" I asked, the question I had been holding for years finally coming out. "Why did you always believe her over me?" My parents looked at each other, and I saw the guilt written all over their faces. "Because she was struggling," my father admitted. "She had learning difficulties, social anxiety, always felt like she wasn't good enough. We thought she needed more support, more understanding. We thought you were strong enough to handle things on your own. So you let her destroy me because I was capable of surviving it." The silence that followed was answer enough. "We were wrong," my mother whispered. "We were so wrong. And we will spend the rest of our lives trying to make this right." They asked if I would consider family therapy, all of us together, to try to heal what had been broken. They asked if I could forgive them, forgive Olivia. give everyone a chance to start over, and I told them the truth. I don't know. Because here's what nobody tells you about revenge, about finally getting justice after years of abuse. It doesn't automatically heal you. It doesn't erase the damage. It doesn't make the relationships magically fixable. I had exposed Olivia's cruelty to hundreds of people. I had protected my reputation and my accomplishments. I had stood up for myself in the most powerful way possible, but I still carried years of pain, self-doubt, and trauma that wouldn't disappear just because the truth was finally out. I need time, I told my parents. I need to figure out who I am without constantly defending myself. I need to build a life that isn't defined by Olivia's attacks, or by proving I'm worthy of love and respect. We understand, my father said, though I could see how much it hurt him. And I need you both to understand something, I continued. If we're ever going to have a relationship again, it can't be based on me constantly forgiving and forgetting while Olivia gets endless chances to change. There have to be real consequences, real boundaries, real accountability. My mother nodded, wiping her eyes. Whatever you need. Whatever it takes. We left it there. No dramatic reconciliation. No immediate forgiveness. Just a small opening. A possibility that maybe, someday, with a lot of work and time, we could find our way back to something resembling a family. As for Olivia, I haven't spoken to her since graduation. She sent me a long apology text a week later, but I wasn't ready to read it. Maybe I never would be. Some betrayals run too deep, cause too much damage, to ever fully repair. But that was okay. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for Olivia's approval or my parents' validation or anyone else's permission to move forward. I had my degree. I had my truth. I had my future. And that was enough. 6 months have passed since that graduation. The video of what happened went viral, and I received thousands of messages from people who had experienced similar situations with toxic siblings, family members, or friends. Their stories broke my heart and strengthened my resolve at the same time. I started my dream job at a research lab. I moved into my own apartment in a different city, decorating it exactly how I wanted, creating a space that was entirely mine. I made new friends who knew me only as who I am now, not as the girl who was constantly sabotaged. And slowly, gradually, I started to heal. Here's what I learned from all of this. Standing up for yourself doesn't always look like a dramatic confrontation at graduation. Sometimes it looks like quietly gathering evidence. Sometimes it looks like setting boundaries. Sometimes it looks like walking away from people who refuse to treat you with respect, even if they're family. But whenever you choose to stand up, however you choose to do it, make sure you're doing it from a place of protecting yourself, not just hurting the other person. Because revenge, for the sake of revenge, doesn't heal you. It just creates more pain. What healed me wasn't exposing Olivia publicly, though that did clear my name. What healed me was deciding that I deserved better, that I was worth fighting for, that my accomplishments were real and valid regardless of who tried to diminish them. If you're dealing with someone who constantly tears you down, who sabotages your success, who can't celebrate your achievements without trying to steal the spotlight, please hear this. You don't have to accept that treatment. You don't owe anyone access to your life just because they're family. Document what's happening. Protect yourself. Set boundaries. And when the moment comes, when you're ready, stand up and speak your truth. Because your success isn't theirs to take. Your story isn't theirs to rewrite. And your future is yours alone to create. People ask me sometimes if I regret how I handled things. If I wish I had been less public, less dramatic, less harsh with my exposure of Olivia's behavior. And honestly, no, I don't. Because for years, Olivia got away with tormenting me specifically because everything happened in private. Because accusations made in whispers are easy to deny. Because when someone slowly chips away at your reputation over time, it's hard to point to any single moment and say, this is where the line was crossed. By making her final attack so public and responding with such comprehensive evidence, I didn't just clear my name. I created a record. A documented truth that no one could rewrite or gaslight me about later. But more importantly, I sent a message to everyone who had doubted me, dismissed me, or believed Olivia's lies over the years. I showed them that I was worth believing, that I was worth defending, that I was worth supporting, and maybe most importantly, I sent a message to myself that I was strong enough to stand up for my truth, even when it was terrifying, even when it meant confronting my family in front of hundreds of people, even when it risked everything. That graduation day wasn't just about receiving a diploma. It was about reclaiming my voice, my reputation, my right to exist, without constantly being torn down by someone who should have been my biggest supporter. So, to anyone out there dealing with a toxic family member, a jealous friend, or anyone else who can't stand to see you succeed, remember this: your truth is powerful, your voice matters. And the day you decide to stop shrinking yourself to make other people comfortable is the day you start truly living. That's not revenge. That's justice. And you deserve it.